But this is not to say that all is well in the banking sector. Deutsche Bank's woes are not unique, and many of its peers are experiencing similar problems. In the years since the financial crisis, banks around the world have been buffeted by strong headwinds. Not only did they discover that much of their balance sheets were worth far less than they thought, but they have subsequently had to operate under increased regulation and higher capital requirements. Though these new conditions make the industry safer, they also reduce profitability. And then there are the fines. In addition to Deutsche Bank, Bank of America has been slapped with a $16.6 billion penalty. Investors, meanwhile, are turning away from banks in search of clearer rewards, and the world's best and brightest are choosing technology firms over investment banks as they enter the workforce. The global banking sector is losing profits and influence. On top of these challenges, European and Japanese banks are facing additional discomforts. In the past 2 years, the central banks of Europe and then Japan plunged their interest rates into negative territory as they struggled to achieve their inflation targets. Research on the subject remains scant, but evidence suggests that such unconventional monetary policies further undermine banking profitability, a factor that appears to have influenced the Bank of Japan's latest adjustment to its quantitative and qualitative easing programs. In the Eurozone, German and Spanish banks have suffered the most from the European Central Bank's policy, since their hyper-competitive banking sectors have already reduced their margins. Given the circumstances, it is unsurprising that Draghi would get such a hard time in the Bundestag. At the same time, it is unlikely that another global banking panic is nigh. Instead, a structural adjustment is underway, diminishing banks' profits and reducing their sway in modern developed economies. This transition will not be easy for banks or their governments, which will work to protect and support a sector that will always be deeply engaged with their citizens.